T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. T minus for minutes. T minus 3 minutes. T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Hello. Happy Football Friday, everybody. Like the famed rock group Trooper, we're here for a good time, not a long time, so I want to get right into it. Kevin, the medium, is with us today, co-hosting from Mexico in Hour 1. In Hour 2, Jim Barker, five-time Grey Cup champion, football analyst, and Joe 747 Gunnis will be joining us from the Ratio podcast to play NFL Deal or No Deal as we enter Week 8. Hi, I'm your affable host, Rod Pedersen. If possible, I'm over-prepared for today's show. I've been doing all this research. It's a very busy time of year. The sports equinox, as they say. Happy belated birthday to Kevin the Medium. He is in Mexico, and I said we don't have a lot of time, Kevin, but I will say happy belated birthday. How is Mexico for you, brother?
Mexico has been amazing. Just absolutely better than I could imagine. So everything is really, really good.
Well, listen, it's a Football Friday, and I got a heck of a lot of CFL topics that I want to get to because this is the Canadian Hour here on the Game Plus Television Network. Hour 2, we go to Silver State Sports and Entertainment plus Game Plus across Nevada. But let's open with the World Series, and I'm going to be honest, here in America, cat's out of the bag. I'm in South Florida. Nobody's talking about the World Series, but I know all of Canada is. Maybe some of Mexico, Kev, I'm not sure. But rookie Trey Savage starts for the Blue Jays tonight in Game 1 against the LA Dodgers at Rogers Center. The 22-year-old righty faces Shohei Ohtani at a powerhouse Dodgers lineup. Two-time Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell gets the ball for LA. You don't need to be Daniel Negreanu or a betting expert to know that the World Series has the Jays as heavy underdogs in this series. So I'm going to ask you this, Kevin. I should have teed you up, but you're a smart guy. You can think on your feet. What's your prediction for this series? I'm just going to tell you mine. Your mind can race. And everybody else, by the way, that's logged in right now that's watching on streaming, or you can text in Western Dodge text line. I'm going to say Jays in 6, and here's why. Number one, I need the Blue Jays to win because I want to. They're my team. Number 2, if it goes 7, that's the Dodgers. They say the best team always wins a 7-game series. I think we all know the Dodgers are the better team. So if the Jays are going to win, it's not going to go 7. Let's say 6. They jump on them early, and maybe the Dodgers get lost on their way to Rogers Center or something. And you know what I mean? That's what it might take. I'm going to say Jays in 6. How about you?
It's funny. I was asked this question yesterday. We were walking around from one of the many restaurateurs here, and I told him Jays in 5. I honestly believe the Jays. I mean, yes, the Dodgers have the higher payroll. They have the players, but they don't have what the Jays have, and that's hard. And I think that's what's going to take them. I really do. I think the Jays. I like 5 or 6. I kept going back and forth, so I'm going to stick with 5.
I like the way you think. I got Jays in 6. Kev has Jays in 5. Everybody else, tell us what you got. Now, moving on, the big story for us is the World Series. The big story in America is this. I'm only mentioning this because I want your take, and it's a simple one. Don't think too hard, Kev, and you're good at not thinking too hard. I know you well enough. The NBA has strict rules against betting on its games, and the consequences are clear. Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami guard Terry Rozier are out of the league indefinitely now. They were arrested Thursday, charged by the FBI for involvement in illicit gambling activities. That's all that I'm going to say. But here's the coverage that I'm seeing in the newspapers, which I do read, and on television. They're saying this makes the NBA look bad. And it's like the season just started. And the FBI is rained all over it with this. And I'm like, I never for one second thought this made the NBA look bad. It makes those two guys look bad and everybody that's involved. But it didn't make the NBA look bad, does it?
No, it doesn't. And it's funny that you brought this up because literally just before I came on your show, I listened to a 1-hour podcast dealing with this because it's poker. It all started with poker. And this one guy, I can't remember his name, he came out and he was the one behind where it all started. If you want to listen to this podcast, go see Doug Polk, Polk. Great podcast dealing with all this, and this is way bigger than two guys in the NBA. I know the NBA's everything in the US, but this goes way bigger that we're only touching the surface with these two guys, I'll say.
Yeah, well, so you're with me. It doesn't make the NBA look bad.
No, it's two guys in the NBA that got their hand slapped. It's nothing compared to
Okay,
the
well,
bigger story.
yeah, I think ask those two. I think they don't think it's nothing. But that would have been a really good poll question. Does this make the NBA look bad? That's what annoys me about the media. I think we all know that's why the rest of the media doesn't really like me, because I don't see things the way that they do. Like, why do you got to build this up and try and make the NBA look bad? This is on those guys and not them. Listen, we're going fast. I said we're here for a good time, not a long time. I'll roll this over into the Canadian Football League. We don't have time in this segment to get to all the topics that I want to. But playoff stakes are high tonight as the Hamilton Tiger Cats host the Ottawa Red Blacks. A Hamilton win in the Hammer would clinch first in the East and home field for the East Division final. Meanwhile, out West, you all think with Calgary at Edmonton, the Calgary's going to go in there and win. But the Elks have pride. They got a 4-game home win streak on the line. They want to win finish on a good note. So I think that'll be a good game. But as far as and then the BC Lions, of which you are the super fan of the BC Lions, the irrational fan, all they gotta do is win Saturday in Sask. That probably doesn't, it's going to be harder than just saying it. But because you're the Lions guy and you host the Hughes Sports podcast, BC Sports focused, how are the Lions approaching this weekend, do you think?
This is, I think, a must-win for us. I've said that the last, 3 weeks in a row. But we need that home field advantage. We definitely don't want to go into Calgary to play. There's no way we're going into Winnipeg. It's either we go into Calgary or we cross over. That's the only two other options other than the home game. When's the last time that we could talk about the CFL where we could say we won't know the playoff implications until the very last game? It's amazing, unless both Calgary and Winnipeg lose on Thursday and Friday, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you kind of clarified that, because it always goes down to the last weekend. But how often does it go down to the last game? Very, very rarely. Yeah. So we've got a lot of things to get to here. Hang on. I got to get my sheets here, my notes. So we're just scratching the surface. That's 3 quick topics off the top of the show here in this opening segment of the warm-up. Jim Barker and Joe 747 Gunnis are on the way, but the text line is open, 902-518-3033. Experience the Western Dodge difference, local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. Our poll question today is NHL related, and we'll get to that far later on because we have a lot of football to get to on the other side of this break. We'll be right back. We are live on the Game Plus television network, of course, YouTube Live, podcast, and across the southern U.S. on Mission Radio. We're going to get to a lot of college football, but that's not until hour 2 when Jim Barker joins. We'll be right back here, everybody, on Game Plus television.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. The spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hello, everybody. Does your message stand out? At Outlaw Communications, we make sure it does. Tony Plater brings 35 years of communication and leadership expertise. From media training and leadership coaching to strategic crisis planning and compelling content, he'll help you lead with confidence. Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. I welcome all the comments from the viewers. There are a ton coming in for all the CFL fans. Friday, hour 1, this is the place to be. And we thank Kevin Hughes for joining us from the Hughes Sports Podcast, the Grey Cup accredited Hughes Sports Podcast. He'll be in Winnipeg in a couple of weeks' time for the Grey Cup. God knows who the teams are going to be. Okay. I invite people to write in with their comments, as I say, on the YouTube chat. I can't necessarily get to them here, but also the text line, 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Noni in Calgary writes in. She says, morning, Rod, and happy belated birthday to Kev. It's like Christmas Day with the Jays game tonight. But I'd also like to see my Riders beat BC tomorrow to prove why they're in first place. This is a fun and busy time as a sports fan. Darcy in Grand Prairie, Alberta writes in. He says, the gambling issue absolutely makes the NBA look bad. Jason 7. This also is a matter of debate, so let's not argue. I feel like everybody's in a good mood today. Let's keep it that way. And I'll say it again, Kevin, I don't think this makes the NBA look bad with the guys being charged for the gambling violations. But anyways, Kev, how about this? What did you think when you saw the news out of Winnipeg that the Blue Bombers sold out the entire season? They sold out every ticket to every game. I'm sure you saw that news. What did you think?
I'm not surprised. Having been to that stadium, felt the game day experience that was 2 years ago, and it was a mean-nothing game at the end of the season. They had already locked up first place. And it was a party atmosphere, and I think I talked to you about it and said it's just a fun place to go and watch a game. We had a blast when we were there, so really I'm not surprised, and I think that's going to continue as long as they can put a competitive team on the field.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself, you fortune teller, you, because I'm getting there. But the thing is, so I saw the news release, and I felt like trolling a little bit today. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I tweeted this. I'm like, we did it back in 07 with the Rough Riders. And not only did we sell out every regular season game, we sold out every game, including the preseason, because it's in my best-selling book. Not a big deal, but my best-selling book, Green Magic, Canada's Team Wins the 2007 Grey Cup. Tom Higgins came out for the preseason game that year in 2007, and the stands were full at Taylor Field in Regina, which by then it was called Mosaic Stadium. And Tom Higgins, he's quoted in my book as saying, well done, Saskatchewan. Well done. Now, I'll troll myself back. The Bomber fans, by the way, had a little fun with this. I love our relationship, me and the Bomber fans now, because we used to want to freaking kill each other. Now it's we just have fun. And they're like, why can't they sell out now? And I'm like, I don't care. Not my problem. But that place holds like 34,000. So it's a lot more significant deal to sell out 35,000 versus 28.8, blah, blah. Either way, it's great. And I was just trolling them, Kev. But this is the first year since 2019 Winnipeg won't host a playoff game. Is this a trend, a fad, or what is it?
Well, it's a I hope it's not a trend, because a good Winnipeg team is good for the CFL. They need to make some adjustments. They haven't really made any adjustments to their team in the last 5-6 years. And how do you say they're getting old. I know I just had my birthday. That's why I had to be careful the way I said that. But they're getting old. That team is getting old, and they need to readjust. I don't want to say rebuild. I hate that term. But they definitely going to have to make some adjustments to keep up with the rest of the teams.
Okay, I'll just check in with some of the audience. Eric in Vancouver says the Lions need to empty our clip in Sask. Monty in Saskatoon writes in and says, hey, Rod, is Moose going to the game tonight? I don't know, Monty. I'm not his mom. Ask him, not me. My God. Ken in Mississauga says, it's amazing the Bombers could sell out this game. There must be something the rest of the league can learn. There is, but again, they are doing something in Winnipeg, and it's not just winning. I mean, I bow down to the Bombers. I think that's why we get along now. They are the flagship franchise of the league now. Nobody in Saskatchewan wants to admit it, but it is a fact. And you said they're getting old. It's okay. You don't need to whisper it. They're getting old. It's pretty evident. And in sports, when you get old, it happens fast. Right? You're going along, the bottom falls out. Because you want to keep those guys as long as you can. A couple other things. Now would be the time to talk about these CFL-related issues for the teams that are going to miss the playoffs. Ottawa, obviously, what are they going to do? What a disaster they've been this year. Edmonton, consider this. I don't think they're going to win. And you and I got to do our picks before you get out of here and go upon your Mexico day. But Edmonton, Kev, I saw Cody Fajardo, mine Cody, talked about how the Elks started the season 1-6. They've gone 6-4 since. My math is terrible, as you know. They're 7-10 now. But I thought they'd have 5 wins, Kev. They had 7. And they lost a handful of games by less than 5 points. They've come a million miles as a team. I don't know if they're ready to appreciate or accept that yet. I think you and I can see it, but I don't think in Edmonton they see it yet.
I think the big change happened there when Cody took the team over and he became their number 1 QB. And I think if they could put in a few little pieces, not huge changes, little pieces around Cody, and they could be a powerhouse next season. They could be dare I say it, the riders of this season. Edmonton can be the riders of next season. But they've got all the tools there, except for a few missing pieces, maybe on defense, a couple of receivers. They're not that far away.
Look, they're going to be good. So
yes,
just like Winnipeg was on the rise at one time, and then we saw the rise, and now the window's closing or closed. That's a fact, Jack. Sorry. But under Mark Killam, we all know what Ed Hervey's done. He's proven. I don't know why he keeps getting fired everywhere, but guess what? So do I. And I'm proven. So it happens. We're still winners, and they're going to win in Edmonton. But now would be a good time to do the picks. And I'll save you all a lot of time. It's brought to you by Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. It's real easy. I got almost all road teams. It's Ottawa at Hamilton tonight, right? I got Hamilton to win. They need to win to clinch first, and they will. Who do you have to win in that game?
Same. They need to win. I think Bo's going to take that one handedly, I'll say.
Calgary at Edmonton. I got Stamps.
You know what? I want to take the Stamps, but my heart's saying I think Cody has something to prove still. And I'm going to take the Elks in an upset.
Death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. That's the things you can count on in this life. I'm still staying with Calgary. Montreal at Winnipeg. Bombers are dressing nobody, including Zach. I'll take Montreal, but who do you got?
Same, Montreal.
And the BC Lions at the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Who do you like?
Well, again, I don't think Saskatchewan's going to be dressing a whole lot of their starters. So I'm hoping that this one is, I don't want to say it's a cakewalk, but I think there's going to be cake being eaten. How's that?
That's good. And your birthday cake, perhaps? By the way, yeah. The picks are brought to you by Pump Jacks Weyburn. Pump Jacks Weyburn. Stop in there and say, tell them that you saw us talking about them on the RP show. That would help us out a whole hang of a lot. By the way, you mentioned my buddy Bo. I was reading the game notes, and I enjoy that so much. It's one of my few guilty pleasures in this life. Did you know he's the only quarterback in the CFL this year that'll start all 18 games? He'll start tonight, and he's the only guy. So will this be the year he gets named MVP? Like, who is the MVP of the CFL this year, everybody?
It's got, I mean, yes, you're going to call me an irrational fan, but it's got to be Rourke, doesn't it? Doesn't Rourke have to take outstanding Canadian and outstanding player? Is there anybody else?
I saw that he was a double winner, as their MVP and top Canadian, for sure. He's got the Lions rolling. They've won 5 in a row. And by the way, I do believe they are the biggest threat to the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win the Grey Cup. That was a casual question I threw out on Wednesday to the viewers. I'm like, who is the Riders' biggest threat? Because, again, I'm reading the game notes here, and the Riders are top 3 in 10 of 11 defensive categories in the CFL. Like, they are doing historic defensive things, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They should win the Grey Cup. But here's the thing, you got to play the games. I say it's BC. Les Lazaruk said yesterday BC. Some have said Calgary. Some have said themselves. But, I mean, if you can just take your orange hat off for a second, is there a chance the Riders just roll to the Grey Cup championship in Winnipeg?
Oh, sure, there's a chance. There's probably a higher than 50% chance. But let's look at the season. I mean, yes, the Riders beat BC handedly, but they haven't beat the Stamps. The Stamps have literally owned them. So if the Stamps happen to get by BC, they not only have a threat of the BC winning 6 in a row, everything's clicking in BC. They have that in their head. We can't beat the Stamps.
Well, it's tricky.
And are the Stamps struggling? Yes, they are. But they still, you get that into your head. We can't beat somebody. Anything can happen. I've never looked forward to this playoffs as much as I am this year.
Yeah, because you know your team has a chance. And Nathan Rourke is playing at what we all expected that he could. You know, he came back from the NFL. There was a huge adjustment there. And to be honest, I didn't even realize and didn't think about it until I was at Grey Cup with you and talking to the CFL people that they're like, think of the adjustment this kid's had to make. In a year, he had been on the Patriots roster, the Falcons roster, the Jaguars roster, then the Lions roster, moving all over, a bunch of different playbooks, different countries. My God, there's something to be said for that. And we should have probably known. Right, in the most cerebral position in sport, right? So, yeah, we probably were a little hard on him. But by the way, welcome to pro sports in 2024, 2025. My God, there's not a lot of sympathy out there from the fans. But you're right again. But that's how we need to remember. That's why we play the games, because, you know, I was talking about baseball, hockey, the best of 7 series, the best team will win. That ain't the case in football. That's what's scintillating about this. It's any given Sunday, or in the CFL's case, Saturday. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, you look at the Grey Cup last year. If the best team always won, Toronto wouldn't have won the Grey Cup last year. Winnipeg would have. They were the best team.
Yeah. Jim writes in from Balgoni. He says, good day, RP crew. I was all about the Lions beating up on the Stamps, But sorry, Kev, the Riders will tame your kitties this weekend. Cheers all. Meow. That's from Jim. Regarding the NBA gambling issue, Gary in Winnipeg says, according to ABC News, there were 30 NBA players arrested. There are those that are writing in and saying it is the tip of the iceberg of what's going on in the gambling. There's enough shows talking about the NBA betting scandal that we don't need to do it. We'll continue the football talk when we come back. Plus the NHL. I got some fun stuff there in hour 2. Jim Barker will be with us to talk NFL, college, CFL, and also Joe 747 Gunnis from the Ratio podcast will play NFL Deal or No Deal. I won a blizzard off him last week as my Cowboys beat his Washington Commanders. We'll be back in a second, everybody. I will invite you to get your questions and comments in 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line and also the YouTube chat. We'll be back in a second. We are live across Canada and 32 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network, YouTube Live, podcast, and across the southern U.S. For some reason, they like us there on 1700 AM Mission Radio. We'll be right back.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at zasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Welcome back to Football Friday, everybody. This is the warm-up. We're working our way through the Quick Six show topics. So far, we've done World Series, NBA betting, or gambling scandal, CFL. Point 4, Justin Herbert threw for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the LA Chargers defeated the Minnesota Vikings 37-10. We'll talk way more NFL coming up next hour. I should mention, where the heck is it? Larry in Medicine Hat writes in. He says, the Vikings' hope for the season just went. Now J.J. McCarthy has to go into the Lions' den. Like I say, more NFL talk coming up next hour from the National Hockey League, because Kev is a die-hard, irrational Vancouver Canucks fan. From last night, from Thursday night, point 4, a big comeback win for the Oilers. Edmonton fell behind the Montreal Canadiens 5-3 early in the third, but they came back and tied the game on power play goals from Leon and Nuge before Vasily Podkolzin scored with just over a minute to go. Oilers beat the Habs 6-5. Joey Decord stopped all 32 shots he faced, and the Saskatchewan Kraken blanked the Winnipeg Jets 3-0 in Winnipeg. Yeah, that's what I said, the Saskatchewan Kraken. Wilcox's Jaden Schwartz put up 3 points with 2 goals and an apple. Regina's Jordan Eberle scored into an empty net late in the third period. The S stands for Saskatchewan. People don't know that. They think it's Seattle. And Juicy Swaros made a crucial stop late, and the Nashville Predators held on for a 2-1 victory over the Vancouver Canucks. So, Kev, here's the poll question today. Took me all of about 37 seconds to come up with it. Which of these NHL trends are here to stay? Is it the hot Habs? Is it the falling Flames? Is it the reborn Blackhawks? Or is it something that I haven't even thought of? Because those are the stories in the opening 10 games for me. Which one of those is going to continue, and which one is a mirage in your mind?
I think the falling Flames are going to continue. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from people back home. I don't see them doing much. When I was still back there, people were talking about tanking already. I mean, the fans have pretty much thrown their arms in the air, and hell, they can't even keep the lights on. What are they doing? Come on.
Weren't you just there for a Bryan Adams concert? Did they forget to turn the lights back on after that? Or
Apparently. It's embarrassing.
Just so you know, running away with the poll result is the falling Flames. And I'm sitting here, you and I have spent, well, you live there. I've spent so much great time in Calgary. I love the people there. They're so good to me. And to be honest, this isn't their fault, what they've been through with that team. But this summer, it was so positive. You were at the Theron Fleury golf tournament with me. Everybody was so positive. I'm like, finally. And then this. And I saw Mackenzie Weegar say the other night after the overtime loss to the Jets or whoever, no, to the Habs, he goes, it's like there's a dark cloud over us. I'm like, Kev, you're the woo-woo guy. Do they need to go in and like do a seance or a saging, or what the hell do they need to do there?
The Hughes Sports Podcast has enough trouble with the Calgary Flames. We won't revisit that. So I'm gonna keep my comments to no, there's no dark cloud, but always look up.
What does that mean?
Who's at the top? Who's running the show?
God. Are you saying God hates the Calgary Flames?
No, I'm not saying. Don't put words in my mouth.
By the way, there are only a few of us that know about the rift between the Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corporation and the Hughes Sports Podcast. You know, it would be nice if these teams and conglomerates got over things. It would be nice if they did, but I also know that they just never will. That's life now. But anyways, I should throw this in. We're brought to you in part by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. Kevin the Medium. Arlen Bruce writes in. He says, great day, RP and Kev. I have some great news. My son, Arlen Bruce IV, has signed with the Arizona Rattlers in the IFL. He will get to live his dream, and that's play pro football. Go Blue Jays. And that's, thanks, AB, for that. And congratulations to your kid. I still want to get him on the show. He's like, do you want to get my son on? I said, I'd rather have you on. And then he never wrote me back. But to talk about not being able to get over stuff. Arlen Bruce IV never even committed a violation in the CFL. He's never played in the damn league, and they won't let him in. Like, what a world we live in, Kev.
I'm not going to go. I beat that drum till I've got a sore head banging my head against a cement wall on that one. The league won't even comment on it. That's the frustrating part is give the kid a chance. I mean, it was a misdemeanor when he was a minor that is causing all this issue. Come on, talk about yeah.
Well, by the way,
you notice I have a filter?
Yes and no. It was not a misdemeanor. He wasn't charged with anything illegal. He was betting while playing college football at Iowa. He didn't do anything illegal. It was an NCAA violation, but that's not a violation of CFL rules. So why won't you let the kid play? Oh my God. Oh, by the way, Jeff in Toronto writes, and he's a new viewer. He says, I think the Habs are for real. And this is the year the Sabres end the playoff drought. I think you should have stopped after your Habs comment because I don't think the Sabres are for real. No. But anyways, while I have you, did you see any of the interview with Mark Trestman yesterday? It was a lot of fun. Like, I love Mark, and it was so funny as you were just very carefully mincing your words, however you want to say it. So was Tress. He's like, how do I say this? Because it took him a month to calm down from the rule changes. So it's not just Canadians. Kev, listen, you know me better than probably anybody. Last night I was making the bed. I'm like, I got to remind myself that just because I don't think it's a big deal doesn't mean that it's not a big deal to a lot of CFL fans and people like Mark Trestman. Yeah, and does that mean anything? Is that going to change anything? I don't think so. But my God, I still don't think Stuart Johnston thought there would be this big of a blowback.
No, I'm definitely not names like a Trestman coming out and saying what he has said. And it was funny because as I was listening to that, I'm like, wow, like here's a guy that has been at the top of the top in the CFL. And he was amazed that there was no football people from the teams involved in this decision. It just goes to show the lack of what the heck's going on. They don't know. They should have predicted this, and it could have been handled, as he said, way better. The timing could have been better. They could have brought people in to say, you know what, that 35-second clock, maybe we should put that to the side. I get it. We have to grow this league, and the only way to grow this league is expansion. We're not expanding in Canada, folks. I'm 61. I turned 61 yesterday. We tried it once, it failed. In the States. That's because of the way we did it. We can still expand into the States, and it can be successful. I'm convinced of that now, but don't try to tell us you're not trying to Americanize the game when it's obvious you're Americanizing the game to be able to fit into their stadiums.
I'm smiling about it because for a variety of reasons, but it's like they were never going to consult the coaches. Do you know why? Let me relate it to this. There were people that were upset professionally when I moved to Florida, and you know who they are, that I didn't consult with them. Do you know why I didn't? Because you would have said no. And it's my life. So the owners are saying it's our league. So go piss up a rope if you don't like it. That is what it boils down to. End of story. So I'm sorry. That is the parallel. Does it fit in your mind?
Oh, definitely. The owners have every right to do what they've done. I'm just saying they did it incorrectly. And as a fan and as now a media member, I have every right to tell them, I'm sorry, I think you did this incorrectly.
Cool. And I know there's a lot of people feel your way. And if I got out and ripped the commissioner's ass, do you think he would have come on this show? What do you think?
Hell no.
Right.
No, of course not.
So in this case, it worked out really well that I am in favor of the rule changes. And that's not a lie. If I wasn't, I would say it. People know I've been doing this long enough that I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to pee on your head and tell you it's raining like the owners will. But that's the difference between me and them. Okay, speaking of, looks like you got a sunburn. Go find some aloe vera, Kev, and thanks for spending some time. And please say hey to the lovely Ange for me.
Will do. We're headed down to the beach to spend the day on the beach.
All right, all right. Uno más, por favor. Mi esposa e dinero. My wife has the money. We'll be right back with a sports update, everybody. It's the Canadian Hour. We got viewer takeover the rest of the way. You're watching live on the Game Plus television network.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're ready for the weekend. I'm just so happy about everything, especially the way things have worked out here on the RP Show. Primarily Canadian topics in hour one, primarily U.S. topics in hour two. And yes, I bought this at a store called Flagcraft just down the street. Well, what they don't have, as they say. Any kind of flag you want. Well, wasn't hard to find a Canada U.S. one, but before we delve into the viewer comments, because I promised viewer takeover here, and I should tell you the text line is open, 902-518-3033. And again, as I take care of business, I should mention the Junior Hockey Report, which we do every day for our good friends at the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. The Warriors are home tonight to the Lethbridge Hurricanes. And if you're going, you should go. Stop in before the game or after at the Mad Greek Eatery, Main Street, Moose Jaw. Tell Johnny you treat us, the Mad Greek, that you saw us talking about him on the show. He's a very good-looking gentleman, I'll tell you that. From classic to loaded, pizza night starts at the Mad Greek Eatery. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. I keep laughing, I'm sorry, for a variety of reasons. Obviously, I'm in a great mood, but I went for supper in Moose Jaw in August at the place called Hopkins. A lot of people will know that place. And there was a lady doing tarot cards in the corner at the restaurant. So I said, do you want to read my cards? Would you mind? She's like, absolutely. So she's doing that. Are you the guy that I see every morning on TV? I'm like, I don't know. Am I? You're the fortune teller. You tell me. And she's like, oh my God. Yes, you're that guy. The Rod Pedersen show. Yep, that's. What do you see, lady? And we did it. That's why I'm laughing about that. And the other thing, producer Corey saw me laughing in the commercial break. Friend of mine, Nick Fairbanks, who hosted the Cats and Bolts podcast with me for a while, his wife made a move to Minnesota. She took a job up there and they left. And he just posted a photo of his car with frost on it in Minnesota with the title, Bruh. Once you've experienced Florida weather, it's hard to live anywhere else. I'm just going to put that out there. Okay, it's time for your sports update brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. Your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. Visit them today or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca. All-star shortstop Bo Bichette was added to the Blue Jays roster for the World Series against the defending champion LA Dodgers today after recovering from a sprained left knee that sidelined him for 1.5 months. Bichette, a two-time AL hits leader, hasn't played since seeing his left knee in a September 6th collision with the Yankees catcher Austin Wells. Infielder Ty France was also added by the Blue Jays, who dropped outfielder Joey Loperfido and righty Yariel Rodriguez. I got to applaud the hardcore Jays fans who were writing in earlier this week saying when it comes back, who gets dropped. I believe it was Laverne in Speedy Creek who said that it would be Loperfido. So good for you. It caught me off guard with the question because I'm like, I'm not the manager. Topic for a time that we have more time than now. But Greg Zahn, do you really listen to what the guys say when they come on here, specifically the analysts? Because I do. I wonder how many else do. Greg Zahn goes, I'm not 100% convinced that John Schneider is totally managing this team. And he goes, and by the way, it's not about John Schneider. He goes, that's all across MLB. I'm not sure he's totally managing the team. Was this John Schneider's decision to take off Loperfido? It apparently is the obvious choice. Or does it go higher up in the organization? Doesn't really matter. But welcome to sports in the world in 2025 when there's a lot of chefs with their fingers in the stew. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a chance to get back in the win column tonight as they visit the Sabres. Toronto coming off a 5-2 loss to the Devils on Tuesday. Also tonight, the Calgary Flames visit the Winnipeg Jets. The San Jose Sharks look for their second win of the season in New Jersey. And Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals take on the Blue Jackets in Columbus. And that's another one. God bless technology. I know everybody hates the internet, and I know it's been crappy for a lot of reasons. But last night, I'm at the Penguins-Panthers game here, watching Sid turn back the clock. It was actually a pretty good game, despite another Panthers loss here. But I'm sitting with Jeff Rimmer, the Hall of Fame voice of the Florida Panthers and Columbus Blue Jackets, now retired. But he's like, oh, big fight tonight in New York. I said, yeah, who was it? He goes, Ryan Reeves and Rempe. Calls it up on his phone, a reel on Instagram. I'm, wow. Like that. God bless technology. It makes life so much simpler. Tell you what, it makes doing this job a hell of a lot simpler. It's a big night for Brandon Ingram as the Toronto Raptors open their home schedule against the Milwaukee Bucks. Acquired last season, the All-Star forward will play just his second game with Toronto and his first at Scotiabank Arena after returning from injury. The Raptors are coming off a road win in Atlanta while the Bucks opened with a victory over Washington. And again, that's your sports update, proudly presented by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store in Moose Jaw. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. What do we got here? Yeah, BC Eric, I appreciate him checking in as he does every day. He says, Football Friday, great weekend for all sports. It's CFL decision weekend. You kind of got to feel bad for the CFL, do you not? Just in terms of this Blue Jays run. I mean, 32 years since they've made it this far. It will not be a great ratings weekend for the Canadian Football League. We'll see how far this World Series goes. Kevin, the medium, and I made our picks earlier in the show. I said Jays in 6. He said Jays in 5. Darcy in Grand Prairie writes in. He says Jays in 7. Shaq writes in. He says, man, the Habs got robbed last night against the Oilers. I've heard about that. I did not watch the highlights. It's funny. I said that I was over-prepared for this show today. I am from a football vein. I didn't sit here watching all the hockey highlights. And by the way, it's not that easy to do in the States, watching hockey highlights. Hello, Jason from Red Deer. Jeff in Toronto writes, and he says, October is my favorite sports month. It's not mine, but I'm always in the minority, and I'm okay. I'm used to it. I like the spring because you know why? I've said this a lot. Jeff, you're late to the party here, just so you know, because you wonder what this show's all about. This is episode number 1603. We've had a lot of viewers been with us for the long haul. It's not your fault that you just found us, but we call them the Rod Squad. And for whatever reason, they come back here every day. But I'm always the contrarian thinker. As my therapist, Rand, says, that's why you have the show. Nobody knows what you're going to say. And I know that because I don't know what I'm going to say next. But I like the spring because you know why? We're all watching the same thing. Right now in the sports equinox, NBA is going on, MLB is going on, NFL is going on, NHL is going on. Everybody's watching something different. So, as Ricky Nelson famously sung in the Garden Party, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. And not that I need to wind this up. We have plenty of time here, but that's the thing last night. I'm at the Amerant Bank Arena here in Sunrise, Florida, watching the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Florida Panthers, a sellout house here. You know, and it was a hell of a game. It was a treat. As a guy that grew up in Saskatchewan and lived there for half a century, to go to NHL hockey any night is a real treat for me, for a hayseed like me. And to watch Brad Marchand and Sidney Crosby go head-to-head and see a goaltending battle between Sergei Bobrovsky and Tristan Jarry, that's where my focus was last night. And again, everybody is watching something different right now. Oh, BC Eric says, RP, I know you're watching the Blue Jays, but how does a guy in Florida watch the CFL? Bro, well, you wouldn't know because you live in Canada, but it's CFL Plus. I mean, you clearly know that I worked in the CFL for a long time. I love the CFL and will always love the CFL. Long before I started working in it in 1991, I was a huge fan. I like it better now that I can be a huge fan and not be attached to any single team. And CFL Plus, their streaming service, is elite. I've never had an issue with it. I see everybody bitching all the time about CFL Plus. Ever since they launched it, and what's it been, 3 years now? It is flawless. And I'm talking about on my cellular phone or on my MacBook. Never had an issue. I watch as many games as I can. And this is a topic for another time that we won't get into next hour when we're on across Nevada. But the CFL does get way, way, way more respect in America than it does in Canada. And you scoff and you laugh. No. I have so many friends here that watch the Canadian football. In the gym the other day, I was wearing Riders shorts. Guy comes up to me. He's like, Saskatchewan Rough Riders. And he looked like a baller. I've never really asked him. I said, how did you know that? He goes, I watch in the summer. I watch the games in the summer. And, of course, once the NFL kicks off, he ain't watching anymore. And Vancouver, BC Eric says, shocking. I don't know what to tell you about that. All I can tell you is it's flawless. So way to go, CFL. Shaq writes in, what, you're in Edmonton? Or where are you, Shaq? He says, I haven't checked the standings. Who's crossing over to the east? It'll be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Thanks for asking. And now's a good time to ask, as we go to the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network next hour, and we do way more U.S. topics, which does include the National Hockey League. But all the BC Lions need to do Saturday night is win at Saskatchewan, and they'll finish second and host the West semifinal. There's a lot of other permutations and combinations going into this weekend, but all you need to know is if Hamilton beats Ottawa tonight, which they will, and Bo Levi becomes the only quarterback in the CFL this year to start every game, he should be the MVP, in my opinion. They'll clinch first. And in the West, BC goes to Saskatchewan Saturday night. There's a lot of other things in play here, but if the Lions win at Saskatchewan, that quashes them all, which I think that they will. Okay, we'll be back, everybody. This has been fun, hasn't it? We'll be talking about these things and more. Jim Barker and Joe Gunnis coming up next hour. We're live on the Game Plus television network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Hey, yo. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Oh, it's a very big day. Very big day. Football Friday, we normally call it, and we still will. We're on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada, as always on Game Plus television across Canada and 32 U.S. states. We're in a bit of a juxtaposition here today, and I'm going to tell you why. Jim Barker's coming up in the next segment to talk ball for all. We're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal later on this hour with Joe Gunnis from the Ratio podcast, but let's get right down to business. There's big stories on both sides of the border. We always open with our quick six show topics with the big story, and they're different in two different countries, like my flags I bought this week. Let's start with the U.S. big story, okay? And I'm not going to do it for long. The NBA has strict rules against betting on its games, and the consequences are clear. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami guard Terry Rozier are out of the league indefinitely. They were arrested Thursday and charged by the FBI for involvement in illicit gambling activities. Billups is accused of being part of a poker scheme that cheated victims out of millions. Rozier allegedly shared insider information affecting bets on his own performance. Both have been placed on leave by the NBA. That is the big story here. It's what everybody is talking about, and very few are talking about the World Series. That's nobody in Canada's problem. I'm just saying it what it is. The one thing I do want to say, though, you can't turn on a television, you can't turn on the radio, read a newspaper without everybody talking about this. Chauncey Billups being charged by the FBI. He just went into the Hall of Fame last year. The NBA Hall of Fame, everybody. And what the media is saying is how this makes the NBA look so bad. It's opening week. Had some great games on opening week on, what night was it? Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and now this. To me, that doesn't make the NBA look bad. It makes Chauncey Billups look really bad. And Rozier of the Heat look really bad, but not the league. And I don't understand why the media is searching for things that aren't there. But that's why me and the media don't get along. That's the big story. And that's all I want to say. That would have been a good poll question today. Does this make the NBA look bad? And I don't. My vote is no. Although having said that, we've got viewers today, and you can write in if you want, 902-518-3033, Western Dodge text line, and give us your thoughts on that. Or YouTube. Those are watching live on YouTube. You can vote there as well. So I'm not alone in that. I guess that's not our official poll question. That's coming up, what it is. So we'll get to that. Now, I'm more excited about this. And I'm shocked more people aren't talking about the World Series in this country where I live, but that's what it is. It is what it is. Point two, rookie Trey Savage starts for the Toronto Blue Jays tonight in Game 1 of the World Series against the LA Dodgers at Rogers Center. The 22-year-old righty faces Shohei Ohtani and a powerhouse Dodgers lineup. Two-time Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell goes for the Dodgers. I mean, you don't need to be Johnny Avello from DraftKings to know that the Blue Jays are heavy, heavy underdogs in this series. And so I've been asking the viewers today, what's your prediction for the series? And I'm saying this, yeah, I want the Jays to win. That's my team. That's why I don't have a team in the NHL. I don't have a team in the CFL. It makes it far more easy to analyze and be right with my picks. But I'm saying Blue Jays in 6 because if it went 7, the Dodgers would win because the best team will always win a 7-game series. So as I said earlier in the program, if it's 6 games, Jays have a chance. Maybe the Dodgers get lost on their way to Rogers Center, for a game or two. That would be the only way that the Blue Jays have a chance to win this thing. But Jim Barker's coming up on their next segment. He's from LA. He's a Dodgers fan. I said to you, Jim, what was it, August? Can you imagine a Jays-Dodgers World Series? Now it's here. I feel like we need to put a wager on that. Maybe a burger at Rosie's. What do you think? Rosie's on River. Okay, moving on. Our picks are coming up for the National Football League Week 8, brought to you by Pump Jack Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Point 3 of the Quick 6 show topics here. Justin Herbert threw for 227 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the LA Chargers defeated the Minnesota Vikings 37-10 Thursday night. Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen joined Hall of Famer Antonio Gates as the only players in franchise history with 11,000 receiving yards. The Vikings lost consecutive games for the first time this season. Carson Wentz started on short rest in place of J.J. McCarthy, who missed his 5th straight game with an ankle injury. Here's the interesting thing about this. Nobody is talking about that game going into it. Nobody's really talking about that game coming out of it, except for a couple of things. You hear now, the Canadian viewers that know I've been talking about Mike Florio for a long time. I just love that guy, the founder and lead writer at ProFootballTalk.com. and he's a host on NBC's Football Night in America. You all know him, and he's on every morning on NBC Sports Radio. But he's a dyed-in-the-wool Vikings fan, and I'm just laughing because he's like the only guy talking about it. This morning, they're talking about a tweet by one of the Eagles being upset about his playing time in Philadelphia. That's what they're talking about on ESPN, a tweet. And Mike Florio, he's a snarky grump, which, frankly, I used to be, so I kind of get him. But he's all upset as a Vikings fan that the Vikings had to play on short rest, and they had to travel, and this is supposed to be against the rules. And he, as of this morning, said he wanted to quit the media biz. It's only the second time in his career he's wanted to quit the media biz because he just thinks that the world's against the Vikings, and they can't win, and screw the NFL. And it got me to thinking about this. And I do want to ask Jim Barker this coming up, where this Viking season is going now that I think about it. J.J. McCarthy, I think he could have played, but they didn't want to rush him. So they put it in Carson Wentz, and they got bombed. And that's another thing. Florio was saying how bad the game was, 37-10. Statistically, it was the second worst game on Thursday night so far this NFL season through 8 weeks. Hey, these aren't the sexiest matchups, just so you know. And let's not forget, last week it was the Steelers and the Bengals in a slobber knocker. You never know what you're going to get. Whether it's Amazon Prime or you buying a ticket, it doesn't say in the fine print on your ticket that it's guaranteed a great game. But anyways, on the Florio thing, it just got me thinking about, was there ever a time that I wanted to quit this perilous trade? And you know what? There were two that I could think of. 2 times. And one had to do with my personal website, rodpedersen.com, which was founded in 2006, before Facebook, before any other social media. I founded that website. And about 4 years into it, I was going to quit and shut it down simply because of haters. At that time, we didn't know how to shut them down or track them, and the haters got to me. And I was going to quit. But a 12-year-old kid, this is in 2010, 12-year-old kid wrote me from Vancouver, and his name's Jeremy Knight. I'll never forget. And he said, Rod, don't quit, because reading your website inspires me every day. He's gone on, by the way, he works very high up in Hockey Canada now. But a 12-year-old kid convinced me not to shut down that website, which would go on to win Canada's Sports Blog of the Year twice. It's had over 40 million all-time hits, all because of damn haters, jerks, anonymous cowards. There's a lesson in there. Don't listen to those assholes. And then there was another time later on in my career I had to quit because I had to get a second job supporting my family as the voice of a pro football team and a major junior hockey team. I had to get a second job. Is how little I made. I'm like, I'm done. I quit. I'm out. So I was going to quit then. Legitimately, to feed my family was a struggle on what I was making. So that, if that counts, that was the only other time. Haters and low wage. I'm sure that I'm not the only guy that has been afflicted by that. It's also a therapy session for me on this show daily, just so you know. 902-518-3033. I haven't even jumped into the comments yet. Text lines brought to you by Western Dodge. Experience the Western Dodge difference. Local, reliable, and driven to find the perfect vehicle for you. Hockey is my number one sport. Ta-da! I'm excited. The Golden Knights are rolling into town. I'm so excited about this weekend. I got a lot of fun things going on, but that is the prime. 6 p.m. Eastern, Vegas Golden Knights at the Florida Panthers. Got my boys coming to town. Going to watch them live. I can't wait. But we have a few things to do before then, and that's talk about the current NHL going into the weekend. Thursday night, a big comeback for the Edmonton Oilers. They fell behind the Montreal Canadiens 5-3 early in the third. Came back, tied the game on power play goals from Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins before Vasily Podkolzin scored with just over a minute to go to seal a 6-5 win. Elsewhere, Joey Decord made 32 saves. The Seattle Kraken shut out the Jets in Winnipeg 3-0. Juicy Saros made a crucial stop late, and the Nashville Predators held on for a 2-1 victory over the Vancouver Canucks. Those are games involving 3 high-profile Canadian teams. Our poll question today, brought to you by EMJ Marketing, is this: which NHL trend is here to stay? Full disclosure and reminder, we're not even 10 games into the season, okay? but welcome to those that celebrate NHL hockey. Conclusions are drawn. People are losing their minds. The three options, which of these trends are here to stay? The red-hot Habs, who had a 6-game losing streak, snapped in Edmonton last night, but they still scored 5 goals, and their fans are saying they got screwed. Is this Habs team here to stay? Number 2, the falling Flames. The Calgary Flames have lost 7 in a row. It has tied their worst start of franchise history going back to 1995-96 when the great Pierre Pagé was their head coach. Or 3, the reborn Chicago Blackhawks. I'm sitting here warming up the crow pie, the humble pie. I'm not eating it yet, but I'm cutting it, and I'm getting ready to put it in the microwave because I've mentioned I got friends with the Blackhawks who told me they were very, very excited going into the season, and I'm like, sure. Get back to me when you actually win a game. And then I saw them here in Sunrise when they lost 3-2 to the Panthers, and the only reason they were even in that game was because of the goalie Spencer Knight. But lo and behold, they go into Tampa Bay and beat the Lightning Thursday night, and they're in the top third of the league, the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm not going to say the guy's name for the Blackhawks. He's been nice enough to not even jam it down my throat yet. I know he's watching, though. So of all these trends, and there are more, those are the top 3 that I thought of. I think the Montreal Canadiens are here to stay. And you diehards, it's 11 minutes after the hour. Visualize a positive outcome. Visualize the best outcome. Instead of ruminating about the worst. See how it works for you. It actually works great. Back on point, if there was one. I'm excited about the opening. Again, we're not even at the 10-game mark, and it's very interesting. I'm at Sunrise, the hockey rink last night at Merritt Bank Arena. I'm sitting with the Hall of Fame voice of the Florida Panthers and Columbus Blue Jackets, Jeff Rimmer, and we're kind of laughing about, I know this is very hard to believe, but maybe they feel the same way in Vegas. I'm not sure. The team's been there, since 2017, so this is year 8. If I have that correctly. I don't know what the hockey fans are like in Vegas. We've been invited out there to do the live shows, and we will do those, hopefully sooner than later. But this team's been here in Sunrise, the Panthers, for 30 years, and only until 5 years ago, when I first got here, if the Panthers had lost 4 in a row or 5 of 6 in October, which is where they're at, nobody would know. Like, literally, nobody would know. Now everybody knows. There's a lot of heat on the Panthers, just so you know. I'm sitting here trying to I don't even try to analyze it anymore. I don't want to piss the team off. I don't need the headache. What I did enjoy last night was watching Sidney Crosby roll back the clock and watching Brad Marchand score twice. I guess he also rolled back the clock. Something about older players, which Jim Barker and I discussed in this hour last week, what Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers did on the Thursday night game. What the football guys will tell you, football guys specifically, but probably hockey and baseball guys too. I've never talked to them about it, but older players aren't preferred because they get hurt, and they're usually more expensive. Jim, I know you're watching. We need to talk about that when you come back. It's a rub. It's a conundrum. Young and cheap is the way they want to go, but young players make mistakes. They make a lot of them. Okay, so it's a major gamble. That's why my guy Chris Jones always says you want them right in their late 20s. That's the prime. They're not making too much and they don't get hurt. And they got a little wisdom behind them. That's the players. Next point, it's a big night for Brandon Ingram as the Toronto Raptors open their home schedule against the Milwaukee Bucks. Acquired last season, the All-Star forward will play just his second game with the Toronto Raptors and first at home tonight as they welcome the Milwaukee Bucks. As I mentioned, the Raps came off a big victory in Atlanta on opening night on Wednesday. The Bucks opened with a victory over Washington. There is no team in Las Vegas yet. And I'm praying that doesn't happen for a long enough time. There's 12 games in all tonight, including the Miami Heat, my local team, at the Memphis Grizzlies. And I want to go to Memphis sometime. Never been. Got to put that on the bucket list. The home of Ken Austin, the current offensive coordinator, Auburn. Incidentally, that is the headquartered town of Mission Radio, Auburn, Alabama. Everything's coming together today. Home of Graceland. Yeah, I want to go to Memphis, Tennessee. Did I mention that we're brought to you in part by Suds Car Wash? Are you stuck for gift ideas? Suds gift cards, available online at their location or at Costco. They're the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Visit sudsregina.com. We got the coach coming in next, Jim Barker, Joe Gunnis later on for NFL Deal or No Deal. You're watching the RP Show's Football Friday here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network all across Nevada. Wolfpack's home tonight too, by the way, college football fans. Game Plus Television, YouTube, podcast, and, of course, Mission Radio. We'll be right back.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Been dying to get back on the air here. Just before the break, I said I wanted to go to Memphis, Tennessee. I've never been there, the home of Graceland. This guy has written in, Shaq, he says, Oklahoma is Graceland. No, it's not, jackass. Graceland is at 3717 Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee. So I had to get that straight, Jim Barker. Welcome to the program. How you doing on a football Friday, Coach?
Fantastic. So much going on. It's fantastic.
Yes, buddy. Blue Jays Dodgers, when I mentioned it to you in August, did you actually think it was going to happen, my team against your team?
You know what? I didn't, but here we are. I gotta tell you, I listened to the first hour and Kevin saying the thing about heart. When the Dodgers go through and don't lose a game, and to say they don't have the heart that the Blue Jay, I guess it's very fan. That's a very fan thing to say, maybe, but. You know, because I've made a really tough decision. I'm going to make the bet with you, and I'll take the Dodgers, and you can have the Blue Jays. But with that being said, I'm going to cheer for the Blue Jays. You know, I've not been in Los Angeles in 30 years, and even though I went to sleep as a 10-year-old listening to Vin Scully and Jerry Doggett and Don Drysdale on the mound, I mean, I go back a long time with that team. I don't live there anymore. I mean, I not only changed cities, I changed states, and I changed countries. And then I wake up yesterday or the day before, and I see where Carney talked to Trump about doing a bet, and Trump won't return his call because he has no control over who's going to win this. So he's not going to,
right.
You know, so you know what? I'm cheering for the Blue Jays. I am going to cheer for the Blue Jays.
Well,
I think it's great for them, and this is where I live now, and the city
you're
is
living
vibrant.
There. Yeah, hard not to get swept up in this.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I got to ask you, Coach. I got to ask you this before we get to football. Was reading a story in the break about Dave Roberts saying they're ruining baseball with the payroll, $509 million payroll. How much pressure is on a guy like that when you're expected to win? Like they are.
You know, it gets to a point where it's not even a factor because they make so much money that it's kind of like the whole betting thing with the NBA. You know, the hardest thing about that, like if it happened, like how can a guy making 120 million, you know, play a 5,000 or 20,000 or 100,000 or, you know, card game and cheat somebody? It just, I don't know. The money gets so great and it's so big. You know, it used to be the head coach. I mean, as early as the 90s, the head coach always was the highest paid person on the field over the players. That's never the case now. I mean, Andy Reid's the highest paid coach in the league. He makes $20 million a year. And, you know, that would be a middle of the pack player. So it's completely changed and gotten so out of control. It maybe is different in how you handle them, which makes it, I think, harder for some of the older coaches in dealing with the kind of money you're talking about. You know, these guys are making. They're signing $400 million, $500 million contracts. It's a different deal. So I understand what Dave Roberts is saying. But to me, it's almost become like a video game for coaches and things because the players are they're in their own world, a world that Dave Roberts isn't in anymore as a former player.
And if you lose, he's not worried about his next meal. By the way, somebody named John Barker writes that he says, your little brother is still rooting for the Dodgers, just so you know. From
there
John
you go. We have a family rivalry then.
Right. Of every level of football is playing right now, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Where is your focus?
Well, it's on Hamilton and Ottawa at 7:30 tonight. That's Hamilton needs to win. Ottawa, the game, I mean, all those guys have their bags packed. They're trying to get home by Sunday. So, you know, Hamilton's had a bye week coming into this in a game they have to win. If they don't win this, then they don't belong in the, you know, they don't deserve to have a home field. I'll tell you what's been interesting to me, and you kind of just glossed over it quickly, and it hasn't been discussed, is Winnipeg basically resting 8 players. Now, if either BC or Calgary were to lose, they would stay in the West.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't you think you'd want to play and potentially stay in the West since no team has ever crossed over, unless you feel, wow, we're going to have a way better shot playing Montreal and Toronto than we are playing, BC or Calgary, and then Saskatchewan. So again, it's just been odd to me. All the talk's been about Winnipeg selling out every game, and nobody has said they're not even trying to stay in the West. It's almost like they had a meeting and said, listen, we want to cross over, but we can't go say that yet, and nobody's talking about it.
Well,
So
I would, but this is part of why I'd never have fit in with the media, because I'm good with Mike O'Shea. You do what you're going to do. I mean, it looks exactly like what you're saying, but I just don't doubt the guy. But what I will say, I think you saw me say, this is the first time since 2019 that they haven't hosted a playoff game. He's sitting there weighing the pros and cons. We don't know what their health situation is. I know how it looks, but that's got to be what it is. He's like, the best thing is resting these guys, and then we'll pick up the, I don't know what he's thinking. I just don't doubt him, is my point.
Well, that's fine. You shouldn't. I've sat in that chair, and I understand what. And he's saying, "What's the easiest way for us to get to the Grey Cup in Winnipeg?" And he's saying, "We're going to be away anyway. I would rather play Montreal and Hamilton than BC and Calgary or and then Saskatchewan." So that's what he's saying.
You're saying it without saying it is what you're saying. Rob in Las Vegas is watching, and he says, I don't recognize half of the Bomber lineup against Montreal. Eric in Vancouver writes that he says, beating Montreal at home is not easy. Look, Jim's got it right. I don't like to criticize referees. I don't like to criticize coaches because I've never done it in football, right? So you have. So it's totally fair with you. Coming from the fourth hole is going to be hard no matter what. Yeah.
It also goes to what we talked about last week. What makes this such a fascinating game is they're going to play next week. There's a good chance if Hamilton wins tonight, they're playing next week. Montreal and Hamilton and Winnipeg. So Winnipeg, rather than show anything, rather than be able to even philosophically, Stanley Bryant's not playing, Oliveira's not playing. Philosophically, they can't be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with the guys not playing that are not playing. So now it makes it much more difficult for Montreal to prepare for whatever that playoff game is going to be all about. They're coming in with a week off where Montreal, should Winnipeg be able to beat them up a little bit in terms of physically, they're playing them in a week. It's the fascinating thing we talked about last week actually happened, and yet nobody's talking about it. So it's, when you mentioned today about Caleros not playing, I said, that's the first I've heard, and it was like you glossed over it like it was nothing. And to me, it's a huge thing that this team is making a decision that we're going to rest everybody, and we know if we don't win, we're playing a team that has to win, that we're going to be crossing over. And they're saying, I'd rather go play those two teams in the East than play these two teams in the West.
Which is really saying a lot. It's very interesting because with Montreal, you assume they're going to win Saturday at Winnipeg. That would mean their quarterback, Davis Alexander, has never lost. He'd be like 11-0. And you'd rather go play him in his park than stay in the West.
Because he's due. You're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely
right. That is
right.
Yeah. Just for fun, Jason in Red Deer says, why are the Riders starting Trevor Harris? And I'm guessing because he didn't play last week would be my guess. They want to knock some rust off here. Oh, my God, Matthew DeBuck, stop. Coach DeBuck's watching in Fort Lauderdale. He says it's maybe all about the betting. Stop, Matt. No. You got a game to worry about tonight. Don't go stirring this up.
This is not the week to talk about that, Matty. Come on, man.
I know. I'll see you tonight.
About gambling in the CFL when the NBA is you don't need it.
He knows what he's doing. Listen, you go get ready for Shambhadan Madonna tonight, Coach. This is your biggest game of the year. I'll see you tonight at Bud Tite Field, 7:30 kickoff. Anyway, 7 o'clock kickoff. Who is Saskatchewan's biggest threat to winning a Grey Cup?
BC. I think it's BC. And again, having Harris maybe play a quarter or play something, to me, he's going to be at home. I don't know who's playing, whether their offensive line. I'm sure they kept that intact. The one thing you don't do, and if he's doing this is really stupid, is play your starting quarterback with backup offensive linemen. I mean, with Don Matthews in the preseason, whenever Flutie was in, the offensive line was in. If you want to play 3 quarters, guess what? The offensive line was playing 3 quarters, and they didn't have a say. And that's the way it should be. So they better protect Trevor, because I guarantee you they don't want to have that bye week thinking they're going to be going in with Jake Mayer. And I think Jake's a nice, but they don't want to have to do that. So again, that it surprises me a little, but my guess is they know that they're anticipating BC being their team. So to be able to give them some formations and be able to do some things and just give Trevor a look and that kind of thing, I understand that. I
Sneaky
really do.
good game of the week. Yeah. Sneaky good game of the week is actually Calgary at Edmonton tonight, because Calgary needs to win for a shot at second. And Edmonton, they got 7 wins. I pegged them for 5. They've overachieved in my mind. But they're all saying in Edmonton that they're going out to win tonight. And nobody's going to be watching because of the Blue Jays. It should be a good game.
They're sitting Boyko. They're sitting Curly Gittins. They're sitting quite a few players, which surprised me. Because I know, knowing Mark, I mean, how big would it be for them to finish the season at 8-10? That's huge. That would be huge. So maybe those guys really are hurt. I don't know.
They must be. But they've got Cody and they've got God. That's all we need. That's all we need. Aaron Rodgers says it's not about revenge Sunday night when the Steelers play the. I can't even say it with a straight face. What do you think about that game? That's the game of the week in the NFL.
Yeah, it's obviously it's because the NFL has a terrible week this week. I mean, the only game that has any interest to me is the Bears and the Ravens, a team that's won 4 in a row against a team that should be good and yet seems to be tanking. And but it's just a bad week in the NFL. But the Green Bay game, I mean, anytime a player comes back, especially when you played, he has a chance to become one of, I think it's 5 players that have beaten all the teams in the league. Obviously, he hasn't beaten Green Bay because he played with them for so long. But I know when they made the decision to move on from him, it wasn't like something where he was happy about it. I'm sure he would have rather ended his career in Green Bay. So for him to go in and show LaFleur and show the fans and that, you know what, you made a mistake. I still got it in me. And I'm not a huge Love fan, Jordan Love. I'm not a huge fan of his. I'm not. So like I said, it's an interesting game because of that element. And that's about all. I don't know. The games this week are just, I mean, the Giants and the Eagles. I mean, the Giants, what are they? Who knows? And the Eagles are
I know.
falling a little. But they're just kind of boring sounding games.
Okay, well, you know what? You're right. And the thing is, I'm not going to talk any more about it because all I heard on Sports Talk all week was people are not talking about the Dolphins here at all. They're talking about the Hurricanes. But then the spats between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and the Jets owner. And I'm like, oh, my God, is that all you guys can talk about? But the games aren't that good. So I'm going to go back to the CFL because the fans have questions for you regarding that. Jason in Red Deer says, I love you, Jim. But how is BC the Riders' biggest threat? The Riders beat BC both times this season and lost both times to Calgary. I would say their biggest threat is the Stamps.
Okay. I would rather face Vernon Adams at this point than Nathan Rourke. And that's as simple as that. I think the BC Lions are a much different team now than they were early when they – I don't know. They went through a whole bunch of problems on defense, and they've added those players on defense we talked about last week, the 2 interior linemen, Levi Bell and the Samoan from Utah, and then they've added And that makes Betts a better player. They've added TJ Lee to that secondary. So their offense was never a question. And Nathan Rourke is playing as well as anybody. Is he the MOP? I kind of tend to agree with you that that Bo Levi has taken a team with a worse defense and put them in position to be the division champion. I think he deserves a lot of for that, and I think obviously Davis Alexander missed a ton of the season, and the number one ability, as you know, was availability, and he didn't have that this year. But for a guy to go through, and now he's going to be he ain't 11-0. He's going to be 7-0 this year as the starter. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So he's 7-0 as a starter. 2 of them are Ottawa. Can you count those? I mean, I don't know. So, yeah, the MOP is a tough one this year. I think Nathan Rourke wins because of the Canadian bias, potentially. I mean, he deserves it too. He deserves it. I mean, I think it's down to him and Bo Levi. I think that's who it's down to. And Davis
Alexander. That's why they have a vote.
Davis Alexander on the outside.
Sure.
I mean,
sure. Well, here's the thing about
guy hasn't lost.
Here's the thing about Bo. I don't know how well you know him. You've gotten to know me pretty well. People tell me we don't get along because we're too much alike. And I don't know. I've never met him, and I still don't like him. But you guys wouldn't vote for him last year because his team missed the playoffs, even though we led the league in passing. And it's like he's come back and said, oh, yeah? To use a Cody Fajardo line, F you, just watch. Now he's got him clinching first, and he's still leading the league in passing, and he never missed a game. So it's like he needs a chip on his shoulder, and I love that, because so do I.
Yeah, and you know, Bo Levi's competitive. I know him from the TSN, and we worked together in the playoffs because his teams didn't make it to last year didn't make the playoffs, so he worked every round with us. So I've gotten to know him well, and through Scott, like I say, Scott Milanovich, I've just gotten to know the backside, the side that, you know, what does his coach say about him, and he's really developed himself in this offense and has put this team in position to be one game out from going to the Grey Cup. And there's a lot to be said for that. And he's just got that competitive way about him. He's, you know, when you compare a Bo Levi with Trevor, you know, Trevor's won a lot of games. Trevor's done a lot of those things you want somebody to do. But Trevor sometimes it seems like talks his way into stuff. Where Bo Levi, you don't hear him do that kind of I don't know. I just
not anymore.
I have a lot of respect for Bo Levi.
Bo, well, we all like to think we grow up, and maybe Bo is growing up. I don't know. You know, he's not with the same guy he was 10 years ago. Whether that mentally, physically, it looks like he is, right? So It is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun after this weekend. Even this weekend's going to be fun. Jim, thanks for this. We didn't get to college, but we got months ahead to do that. Thanks for this. Enjoy the game.
Go Jays!
You betcha. Go. Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. We'll be right back, everybody, with NFL deal or no deal for Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn, Silver State Sports Entertainment Network, and Game Plus.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video. so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
And a Football Friday continues. Fresh looks from the studio to your closet. Shop official RP Show gear at rodpedersen.com. Click on RP Show store. You can walk home with a mug like this. Joe Gunnis from the Ratio Podcast handles all that stuff for us. Hey, Joe, how you doing, man? How's your Friday going? Oh, hey, Corey. We had him, and now we don't have him. What's up, Joe? Hey, Joe, your eyes are moving. Can you? Yeah, we got you now.
No.
Okay, let's go. We got you now. Are you ready to go? He can't hear me.
Good to go. Good to go now. I can hear your wonderful voice, Rod.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you want to put up the RP Show graphic, and I'll go through these NFL games myself, since we're in this little shorty of a segment? Yeah.
Can you hear me or no?
Let's do this. We got you now. We got you now, but I don't know if you've got me or not. So thank God it's Friday, TGIF. You guys can figure it out. Well, what we do here with NFL Deal or No Deal, week 8, we go through the NFL games. I give you the point spreads, and my co-host decides whether they're going to take the bet or not. Yep. But it doesn't look like we got the communication with Joe. You've got me now, Joe? Are we going to do this, or are we not doing this?
Yep, I'm doing the phone right now. Yep.
Okay, well, I don't know where to start, other than I can tell you that we are brought to you with our picks by Pump Jacks Cathedral and Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. When I stopped in there this summer for the first time, they said, we're a sports bar. That's Pump Jacks Cathedral. But they also want you to come down and watch not just NFL games, but they want you to come down and watch the CFL games as well. We're very quickly running out of time in this segment. But please let me know, guys, when we have our co-host Joe here. There are, by the way, 5 or 6 teams on buys in the NFL this week, and it should make our picks go by a heck of a lot faster. But I'm not going to sit here and make picks without Joe. So do we have you? Are you ready to go? We're going to have to go fast once we do. Because I will go to a sports update if that's what we need to do. Let me know when you're ready, Joe. Let me know, world, or I'm going to jump into a sports update here right now. As a matter of fact, that's what we're going to do on this Friday. It's brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw, your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. Okay, Joe's there. All right, we got to go fast now. All right, New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. Joe, the Bengals are favored by 6.5. Are you taking the bet or not? Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Me as well. The Jets will not potentially win a game all year. Buffalo at Carolina. You were good the first time. Buffalo at Carolina, the Bills by 7.5. Favored. Deal or no deal, Joe?
Definitely deal.
He's got it. Even though the surprising Panthers are 4-3. San Francisco Giants at the Houston. Oh, we got to go real fast. At the Houston Texans. Texans by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
Me either. I got the, did I say Giants? 49ers, I meant. Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots. Patriots favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
It's a deal here as well. New York Giants, that's what fouled me, at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
Oh, you have to go deal.
Miami Dolphins at the Atlanta Falcons. The Dirty Birds favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to go no deal.
Okay, it's a deal for me. The Dolphins are awful. Tampa Bay Buccaneers looking for a revenge game at New Orleans. They're favored by 4.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Deal for me as well. Dallas Cowboys at the Denver Broncos. Denver favored by 3.5. Deal or no deal?
Definitely deal.
Me as well. Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts favored by 14.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Not for me. Too big a point spread. Quickly, Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Packers favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
No deal as well. And the Washington Commanders, your Commanders, and don't forget you owe me a blizzard at Kansas City. Chiefs favored by 11.5 on Monday Night Football. Are you taking the deal or not?
No deal.
Of course not, because that's your team. I'll take the deal. The Chiefs to mop the floor with the Washington Commanders. Joe, it's been fun. Thank you. Good time. Not a long time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games, everybody. Brought to you by Pump House, Cathedral, and Weyburn. We'll be right back here on Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are doing that. It's been that kind of day. It's kind of been that kind of week. We're going to mash everything up here in this overtime segment for you. Viewer takeover, sports update, and all the rest brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, which, well, number one, let's just tell you that if you're looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot, that is the place you need to go. State-of-the-art shooting lanes, top-notch equipment. It's the ultimate training center for players of all ages and skill levels. Check them out, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary, big hockey town. Go there and prove it. I should update the poll, too. The poll is brought to you by EMJ Marketing, and it is, which of these NHL trends are here to stay? Is it the Hot Habs? Is it the Falling Flames, who have lost 7 in a row? Or is it the reborn Blackhawks? They're in the top third of the league after finishing second last in the league last year. Just so you know, the Falling Flames are running away with the vote. Don't shoot the messenger. Sports update, as we were about to get into last segment for the Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. Bo Bichette has been added to the Blue Jays roster for the World Series against the LA Dodgers. He returns after recovering from a sprained left knee that kept him out for over a month. Bichette, a two-time AL hits leader, hasn't played since a collision on September 6th. The Jays also added infielder Ty France and dropped outfielder Joey Loperfido and righty Yariel Rodriguez. Trey Savage tonight for the Jays, a guy that we only heard of for the first time. For us that aren't necessarily diehards, 6 weeks ago against a two-time Cy Young winner in Blake Snell tonight. Let's see. We're all going to be watching. It's the ultimate David versus Goliath story, which, speaking of, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts has been playfully addressing criticism about the team's high spending. The Dodgers spent $509 million on their roster this year, far exceeding the low Miami Marlins at $69 million. Shohei Ohtani makes more than the entire Miami Marlins team. Dave Roberts joked about ruining baseball after the Dodgers clinched the NL pennant. Dodgers are the first defending champions to reach the World Series since 2009. They're facing the Blue Jays, with Jays manager John Schneider acknowledging the Dodgers' strengths and weaknesses. As mentioned earlier, Blake Snell reflects on his growth since his last World Series appearance for Tampa Bay back in 2020. Two-time Cy Young Award winner. It all goes down tonight, or at least Game 1 does, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. And maybe that's why there's very little talk in my circles about this World Series, because it's on Fox. I'm watching ESPN all the time and following hockey. I'm a Canadian. I'll always be a Canadian. And I know what that country is going through with the Blue Jays on the way to the World Series. And maybe why it's so quiet here in the States, because it's only one of the teams is American. I don't know. But I'm expecting a great series. By the way, checking the YouTube results of the vote, it's the hot Habs, they're saying, is the trend that's here to stay. And by the way, I agree with that. The Habs have arrived. The Blackhawks, while in a rebuild, I don't think there's a real plan there. In Montreal, there's been a plan. It's very clear. Jason writes in from Red Deer regarding our last guest. He says, man, I love listening to Jim Barker every time. The energy, the pace, the insights, everything. Yeah, another time, another life, maybe Jim and I would do our own show together. I'm not sure. What I know is for right now it works, so enjoy it while it lasts. Not that it's going to end anytime soon, but these days you just never really know, do you? Coach DeBuck, watching in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, CFL alum, Texas Tech Red Raiders alum, and 3-time Florida 5-8 state high school champion, I might add, writes in, he says, is the Ottawa Red Blacks head coaching job going to open? I got a policy, coach. And you're probably asking Jim, not me, but my policy is I don't talk about jobs until they are open. And as of today, it's not open. Bob Dice is coaching a game tonight at Hamilton, and he just signed a contract extension going into the year. So, no, I do not expect there's going to be a vacancy there. Sports on tap. Looking at the schedule tonight, we've talked about the World Series. Dodgers at Blue Jays, Game 1, 8 p.m. NBA, 12 games tonight. For now, the Raptors are this show's NBA team. I can be convinced otherwise, but for now, we have no reason to cheer for any other team, even though they're ranked 26th entering this brand new NBA season. They got the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. And in the National Hockey League, 4 games. San Jose Sharks, fresh off a victory at the Rangers, go in to visit the New Jersey Devils tonight. I will take the Devils to win that game tonight on our breakaway bet segment. Nobody to play against right now. It's just me. Toronto Maple Leafs at Buffalo in a game nobody's going to be watching. I'll take the Leafs. You're welcome, Toronto. The Washington Capitals at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Caps. Number 2 team in the NHL last year overall. And boy, oh boy, do the Flames need a win as they go into Winnipeg tonight. And the Jets are coming off a home loss to the Saskatchewan Kraken last night. I'm sorry. I got to go with the Winnipeg Jets. I'm the one saying, go ahead and panic away, Flames fans. I've spent too much time over the years trying to console on them. And they've done a really good job. They've been patient. But this start, tying a franchise worst start, there's no, they got a lot of proving to do. And that starts tonight. But I guess my point on that is I'm not going to pick them to win until they start winning consistently. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, go, Stamps, go. That's a big one tonight. Jeff and 2 other people will be watching, I think. But when I get home, I'll be watching it as well. Big night here. High school football to watch. Adaptive hockey to watch live. Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see you back here Monday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. All across Nevada and, of course, across Canada and 32 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network.
That.